All right. All right. I guess I will introduce.
You guess? How many
You
episodes
want
are
to do
we in right now?
it? You want to do it? Nine.
No, I just like who's gonna start this thing?
Hey guys, I'm James, and with me, as always, is John.
I'm John.
And we are trying to podcast. We have been podcasting. We are 9 episodes in. We're 9 months in. Wow. John, how do you feel about that?
I don't even know how to feel about that. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I know we've done 9 episodes, but it doesn't feel like that long.
No, yeah. I mean, it's funny to say like 9 episodes and then like other podcasts do like one podcast a week. So they hit like 9 after a month.
That's true. But a lot of them, how many of them are people
Good.
like them just doing it on their spare time? No, but people doing it on their spare time.
All right. But yeah, this is podcast episode 9. And today we are going to be talking about Hocus Pocus 1 and Hocus Pocus 2 for this beautiful holiday season of Halloween. We aren't going to do what we did with Hell House LLC, where we kind of walked through the movie and talked about scene to scene, but we will probably explore scenes, talk about certain scenes, and because Hocus Pocus 2 recently came out, expect spoilers. I know I'm going to talk about the ending to that movie because we'll get to that, I guess. It's interesting. I have thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, because we're doing a podcast about it. For like history sakes, I've watched Hocus Pocus in the past. I probably watched it 2 or 3 times, growing up. But for some people, that was their holiday movie. It was not mine. How about you, John? What's your history with Hocus Pocus?
Well, I saw it a lot when I was younger. Like, it would come on TV every year. I would watch it. I don't know when I stopped watching it, but I've seen it quite a few times. And then since I've been with Michelle, I've heard about it a lot and I've seen it a couple of times because it's one of her favorite movies. Like she loves that movie. Like she has like Hocus Pocus things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hadn't watched it for like a long time, and then recently I've seen it. I even saw it in theaters. Like
Oh,
during the pandemic when they started re-releasing old movies. One of the movies they put out like in October, I think like 2 years ago or something, was Hocus Pocus.
okay,
So I
that's
went and saw it
cool.
in theaters. Yeah.
So wait, that means they had a reel of it, or how does that work nowadays?
Everything's digital now.
Okay.
So you just see like a 4K, version with surround sound to it.
Right. So, Hocus Pocus 1, for people who don't know, it's a Halloween movie featuring 3 witches who I don't remember their names.
They're the
They're not
Sanderson
important.
sisters.
Yes.
They're
Uh,
not important?
the names are not important.
Oh, okay.
The characters are, and we'll
All
talk
right.
about them.
I had the cast list up. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's Winifred Sanderson, Sarah Sanderson, and Mary Sanderson.
yeah. So, Winifred,
Winifred.
Winifred. Okay.
Winifred.
She's kind of like the main witch, the one in green, red hair. Mary was like what's the politically correct way to describe my body type?
Oh my god. I
Heavy
don't.
set?
I guess
Yeah. And then what was the third one?
she
Sarah?
couldn't she couldn't be the brunette one. She had to be the heavyset one.
If the actress of Mary is listening to this, I am also fat. I am probably worse off.
Okay.
Like I
You don't need to
there
fat
there
shame
was no
yourself to cover up.
well no there was no offense I was saying. I was just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
know, I
describe
know.
her, and I guess I go to body types for whatever reason. Like I mentioned the red hair instead
Society,
of
maybe?
yeah.
Yeah, but
And what was the third one's name? Sarah?
Sarah, yeah, she's
Okay.
blonde.
Blonde, yeah, yeah. And they're three witches. The movie kind of starts with not the origin story of them, but the origin story of them kidnapping a little girl to steal her life essence so they can live longer. But the problem with that was the little girl had an older brother who had an interesting acting. Um, let's just say I got used to the acting by the end of this, but he was a better voice actor than an on-screen actor. I literally my first note on my piece of paper was he's like trying to find his sister, which we're going to talk about their relationship later. But he's looking for his sister, and he has like a friend helping him, and they see like the Sarah like taking his sister into the woods, and his friend was like, "Oh, she's a goner," and he's like, "Not yet. You go back to the village and get my father and round the men." And then he runs into the forest because he's a young teen boy, so clearly he had that handled. Why wait for his father, to get the pitchforks?
I mean, she could be dead by then. She was, you know.
I mean, yeah, let's fucking talk about it. They killed a child.
Yeah.
But like during that scene, you kind of learn their like personalities. They're very comedic. The way I ended up defining them in my head was like they're the Three Stooges, pretty much. Like that's their like dynamic. Like Winifred being the leader who's down talking the other two, and a
Yeah.
lot of there's some slapstick going on, right? I'm not
Yeah.
making that up. So yeah.
She
Anyway,
beats them all the time.
yeah. There's like actually a really great moment that I remember laughing at was I think the boy's name is like Binks, like that's his
Yeah.
Thackeray Binks.
Yeah.
The one looking for his sister, and he's trying to save her, and they catch him, and he calls Winifred ugly, and she was just like, "How dare you? Oh my, Sarah, he called you ugly. Like we can't let that go unpunished." It's like what? But yeah, they kill the child. They get to live, but then the villagers, and then they turn Thackeray into a cat. Uh, an immortal cat who cannot die because now he has to live with the guilt forever now. Which that's an interesting take.
Why do you say that?
I was just like, fucking kill him. Like,
Yeah,
really?
but they wanted to punish him. They didn't
Well,
feel like killing
Winifred
him was.
wanted to punish him. I
Yeah,
think
well,
even like one of the other sisters was like, "Oh, let's steal his life essence too." But anyway, that's when the village comes in and they hang the sisters, but before they hang them, Winifred curses the village of Salem, saying that on All Hallows Eve night, when a virgin lights a candle, a very specific candle, we will come back. And can we just talk about this movie is very when did this movie come back? 1993, I think, actually, it came out.
yeah, around there, 93, 94, something like
Because
that.
that's when the movie takes place. And I mean, I guess what, I was 2 years old, 2, 3 years old. Was being a virgin back there just the funniest thing that they can come up? Because there's like some like knocks to like this teenage boy being a virgin, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like not funny, just like embarrassing to keep
Yeah,
being
but
picked at.
also he's a he. Well, I don't know the age of the actor at the time, but he's a boy. I don't know. It seemed odd, like a high school boy.
No, I
But
think no. I don't think it's odd. I think it's playing into so like the horror trope is that it's always a girl, right? So
mm,
this time it's a boy, right? So in those horror movies before that in the 80s, it was always a girl. And it was always like, oh, she's a prude. She's a, like, oh, that's, she's the one, blah, blah, blah. And it's like picking at her. They're not making it funny necessarily, but it's like picking at them. And then the boys, it's like, oh, they're always ahead. They're always, but they're full of shit. You know what I mean? You find that out in those movies too, is like they talk a lot of game, but really they haven't done shit either. So they flipped it. They flipped the trope onto it's this kid. And so they just kind of kept poking that fun at him to
right.
just because, they flipped that trope. So I get what you're saying, but like, I feel like for people who watched horror movies before that and then saw that was like refreshing. I think we'll get into this more, but I think that's a big part of this movie's success, right? It's actually a really like feminist movie. It flips a lot of all the important characters are women, all the smart characters are women, like the guys actually fuck up all the time. Like even Binks, it's like
Yeah,
he had to fucking get turned into a cat and you know what I mean? Like live
right.
forever to finally be able to do something.
But yeah, and then after they get hanged, it goes into the actual story where I just want to talk about this scene where it's a classroom. The teacher's like talking about the Sanderson sisters, and a young man there scoffs at, oh, poppycock of this Halloween traditional story for the city of Salem,
Hmm.
but whatever. And
He's a
straight up,
Californian.
yeah, teacher calls him out, like, what? Okay, cool. Like, that great way of making him feel, connected to the village. Just call him out as an outsider.
Well, he did that to himself in a way. I know what you're
I,
saying, but
well, a teacher should know better, in my eyes. So,
she didn't go hard. It was just like light fun. I don't know.
yeah, I guess. But then, like, Max gives his spiel, and Max being one of the main characters, he just moved to Salem from LA. So, big city boy in a small town. And I don't know if I'm going to use this term correctly, so you're going to have to tell me, because I feel like you know more younger people. But he seems like a bit of a fuck boy. Am I
uh,
wrong?
I don't know. I don't know. He's just a teenager. Like he definitely is trying to act cool.
Yeah, he
And
has an ego about him because when he goes like blah blah blah, this is all bullshit. Then like one girl like sticks up for like the Halloween horror tradition, like witches are
mhm,
cool, and like he doesn't argue with her, but instead he gets up and goes like, "Here's my number" or some
mhm,
bullshit like that, like
yeah.
trying to play like be a playboy, and everyone was just like, "Did that just fucking happen?"
I don't know if that's ego. I think he just wanted to give her his number and like
But in front of
it's
the whole class, and after she like straight up just disagreed with him about like him kind of maybe not intentionally like insulting the town in a way
yeah, yeah.
where she was just like, fuck you, like witches are real or whatever.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I feel like he was just it's not even that he's confident. I think he's just trying to it's a false thing. Like he's trying to project confidence to try and
Impress.
yeah, try and impress exactly. So, I don't know.
And
I don't think much of it.
it
But
it
again, like
backfired.
no, that's what I was going to say. She gets the last laugh on that one though.
Yeah, because like literally like first of all, the bell rings, so you're allowed to leave class. Uh, and like the guy who is sitting behind the girl, Allison is her name.
Mhm.
She is also a main character. And he kind of like just shook his head at Max, like, nice try, new guy.
Did he actually rhyme that, or did you just do that?
I don't know. I don't know. And then it goes to the next scene where he goes like chases down the girl and goes like, I'm sorry if I embarrassed you. And she was like, yeah, no, I was not the one embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the little like flirting he tried to do, but she goes like, "Oh, so you really don't believe in magic?" And he's like, "No." So she hands him like a piece of paper, which the audience knows is the exact same paper. It's folded
Mhm.
exactly the same way. The
Mhm.
guy folded it, but he thinks he got her number, opens it and sees his number and goes like, "Oh man." I'm like, "Really? Really?" Like I don't know. He then he
Well,
writes a okay, well,
I'm just saying, if
yeah,
you're saying like really like how did he not know, is because he's keeping eye contact with her the whole time. Again, he's trying to project,
right.
confidence and like that connection or whatever. So she gives him the paper. He's not looking at the paper. He just takes it and then he opens it and looks down at it and then sees it's the fucking same thing he gave her.
Right.
But I feel like that kind of just made him like her more. Like,
I mean, probably. Well, I mean, it didn't deter him. He is a horny, horny little boy. Um,
he is a virgin.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, like later on, he's like trying to make out with his pillow, calling it like the Allison, which whatever. Like, what boy didn't do that in high school?
I think I can honestly say I did not do that.
You never like cuddled a pillow and imagine it was your crush or something?
No. Although I always cuddle my pillow, but just because it's comfortable.
I mean, kind of the same, but I do like,
I don't pretend it's a person.
well, I do because I'm lonely. uh, as
Jeez.
he's riding home, we need to talk about these two characters, though. We have to talk about these two
Okay.
characters. I do feel like I'm doing
Oh,
the
the two
whole
best characters in the movie.
shut the fuck up.
You're
So
not about
he
to
first
talk
of
bad
all,
about ice.
he rides through a fucking cemetery to get home, which whatever, cool, I guess. I guess that's what Salem is all about, cemeteries. I've never been. And two riffraffs are hanging out on top of a tombstone. And again, let's just talk about the acting here. Holy crap.
It was amazing.
W- I feel like they told these two actors to be like Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
I don't even remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my, well, fuck you. Um, if they were the bullies, like the OG Power Rangers.
Yeah,
They
I don't
were
remember.
the smoothies. Okay, but it feels like they were just told to be high school bullies and given no information on that, and they bully Max into being like, "Oh, Hollywood! Oh my God,
No, it's
Hollywood!
yeah.
I'm Jackson or whatever the fuck his name is, and this is Craig. No, I'm not Craig anymore. I'm Ice." And he turns around and he has the word ice spelled into his hair. Like, I guess they
Shaved.
trimmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that's a choice. This actor had to do that. Like, maybe you can fake that, but I feel like they didn't have the money for it. I feel like they had to shave ice into this poor boy's head.
Was that guy even a boy? I feel like he was the oldest of the teens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He was a heavy set person. Um,
Here we go.
anyway, uh, they bully him for being an outsider and steal his shoes. Max goes home. Can we talk about how shitty his parents are? Like, I
Why do you
understand.
think his parents are shitty?
So the whole like, oh, he's clearly in a bad mood and they're like trying to talk to him, which is okay. But he's like, fuck you guys. I wish we never fucking moved here. It was a fucking terrible day. He walks away and the mother goes like, what happened with his shoes? And the father was just like, it's just what kids do nowadays or something like that.
He said maybe some kind of protest.
Right. And it's just like, fuck you. Like, come on. Like this, not only that, this kid probably, Max doesn't give me I went and got a part-time job, saved up money to buy nice shoes. I feel like his parents absolutely bought those shoes for him.
Mm.
And I don't know, Max looks like the motherfucker who talks about shoes. You know those weird people who's like, sneakers are cool. That's my personality now.
No, I know people who like sneakers, but I don't know people who that's their personality. But I don't know. I first off, it's just supposed to be funny. I think
Yeah,
you're
I know.
overthinking it a little bit. But also like maybe I mean maybe that's what makes them shitty parents, but like maybe they just didn't want to push it because he's already doesn't want to talk to them. You know, he's already upset. He doesn't want to talk to them. They probably it's possible they kind of know and that, you know, like this is just an adjustment period. They probably just think like it'll blow over. You know, it's not worth
Uh,
it's
which
just
is
shoes.
fair, but it was like the protest comment was odd to me. Like, what kind of fucking like
Rebellious teenager, you know, like
I
he's just being ridiculous. Because no, because again, the point is teenagers don't make sense. Teenagers do irrational things. He's an
sure.
angry teenager, and he maybe did something stupid. I don't know.
So let's actually talk about why I'm kind of like not nitpicking, but these are the things I picked up on. I felt I had a hard time like getting into the movie.
Hmm.
So when I was seeing these things and picking up on these things and be like, what the fuck? I know it's 1993, but what the fuck? Um,
No, but the thing is,
it
that's realistic. I mean, you can say that all parents are shitty, but a lot of parents move their kids around and don't want to deal with what
right,
that's doing to their kid.
but I would say that's also kind of shitty.
No, okay, but I'm just saying you're saying, "Oh, I can't get into it." Yeah, you can't get into reality
No,
because that's
no,
how parents are.
no. I had a hard time getting into the movie in general. Like it took
Okay,
a while before it like hooked me
yeah.
because the like beginning like getting hit with the acting in the beginning was just like, oh, okay, this is okay. And then
Yeah, but it was campy, like, that
yeah, but
it's not
no,
like they
for
don't
me,
know what that scene plays like.
oh yeah, no. But it's just like it was campy, and then it goes into like the modern day where they're trying to like introduce the characters, which wasn't campy at, or I didn't find campy, I guess.
In the classroom?
Yeah.
No, that was campy.
Okay.
Like, that's why the teacher is just messing around with him and why he's being so ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not quite real, you know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
it's a little bit it's campy, like, I don't know.
I maybe also went into the movie like not in a good headspace. So it
Mm.
took a while before like I got with the groove of it. Also, I felt like there was a couple moments that were like slowed down the movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not no one's calling it a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's
Um
it there are some pacing issues. The whole devil house part, like
yeah. It took me a second to even remember what you were talking about.
yeah, like that should have just been cut. Or just been like they go in and then the kids steal the brooms and then they come out and be like, he's not the real devil or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But there was enough that kind of took me out. Like when I have to pause the movie and I start like pacing around in my own thoughts, like I'm not hooked, you know?
Yeah.
So it took me a little while. So maybe I'm being a little but these are the things I picked up on and fuck it. I'll comment. Also, I took way too many notes in the beginning and I think I filled up half of my paper before I got to the halfway point. I'm like, I'm taking way too many notes.
Jesus. I mean, I guess it's offsetting the fact that I forgot to take notes and am just really responding to what you're saying rather than having my
Yeah.
own thoughts.
Let's see. Sexually harassed Pillow before his sister comes out of the closet and scares him. His sister is named Danny. She is like, what, 8?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, young. It- I feel like the very concept of this movie is definitely like sibling relationship, definitely like older brother, little sister, because in the beginning we see Binks fail at protecting his sister
Yeah.
and becoming a cat, and this movie is kind of Max not having that happen. And he doesn't want to take his sister trick-or-treating. His parents weren't going to take her trick-or-treating because they're going to like a party, like a town party, uh, which is interesting because I thought the point of having children is so you can go trick-or-treating again. But I guess that's not the point.
No, usually once the older sibling's old enough, the parents push that off onto them.
If I ever have kids, I'm trick-or-treating, fuck it.
It's
I
fine.
want candy, motherfucker. Candy that's now hurting my body in painful ways, but that's fine. It's delicious. Anyway, tantrum and cuts to him taking her trick-or-treating. Also, I don't know what his problem is with the whole trick-or-treating thing, but whatever.
He just thinks it's lame. He thinks he's outgrown it.
True. Yeah, he just seems to... Halloween hurt him at some point. Like, it definitely has that vibe. But it's more so like he's in a new town, he doesn't feel comfortable,
He doesn't
and
have friends. Yeah.
he would rather isolate himself than do what Danny, wants to do and immerse herself. And this girl, oh my god. I love her attitude, I love her confidence. Was not afraid of the bullies who come back and who are terrorizing little kids, stealing their candy.
That's because she thought her older brother could beat them up, though.
Yeah, she should have listened to her brother when he was like, "Let's go this way." But again, she gets it from her family. She doesn't understand body language and social cues. She walks up to these bullies, tell them, "Hey, my brother can kick your ass." "Oh, who's your brother?" "Oh, Hollywood, Hollywood." It's so.
I don't know how
I
you
don't think
didn't
they
find
were.
this funny.
I just found it obnoxious. I maybe
They are
connected
obnoxious. I don't
with.
know.
Maybe I connected too much with Max. The poor virgin in high school. I wonder why I connected with him. I don't know. Uh, so he gets in a fight with his little sister. And this is the quickest, like, breakup and, like, getting back together. Like, literally, it's, like, cut, and he's like, "I'm sorry." Walks
Because
out like, "I'm
because
sorry."
yeah, well, it's not like they're like similar in age. She's a little girl, and like he felt bad, you
Yeah,
know.
no.
And she loves him. Like she seems like some siblings don't get along like that, but some do, and so she
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
stay mad at him. I don't know. I didn't think much of it.
I just thought it was like a quick cut, and then it's like another quick cut to like the next house where they kind of break into it. Like I don't know if there was like a sign or something that says, "Oh, come in to get the candy." They just walk in. This house was having a very weird Halloween party where everyone was dressed up like colonials, and that seemed like a red flag to me personally.
I don't know.
Uh, What kind of like I get themes for a Halloween party, but colonial?
I feel like that's not crazy to me. To especially in Massachusetts, I could see that.
Oh,
The history, cuz like everything I've learned about like that time period was when I lived in Massachusetts. They didn't teach shit down here about that, really.
yeah.
They would take you I'm sorry, they would take you somewhere and it's like beautiful, it's green, it's so nice. And they're like, you're standing on blood. Battles were fought here. And they start telling you like the whole history of like a certain, battle that happened there. But I'm just like still rewind. I'm standing on what now? And I'm pretty sure we had a trip to Salem too. And they do get into like the fun, stuff about like the witch trials and stuff. But
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, they should.
yeah, I know, but they get into like the like what not just like the real side of it, but like into because I don't know if it is just the town is actually like that, like the way it is in the movie, because I only went there a couple times, but they definitely like profit off of those stories, so they like have like fun things to do that are like related.
Right. Anyway, we find out this house belongs to Allison. I wrote down Allison is probably rich. Felt like a big house.
Yeah.
And what does Danny say to Allison about her dress?
How it makes her boobs look.
Yeah, that was weird to me.
It wasn't
And
weird to
then
me.
okay, but she was also like trying to embarrass her brother, being like,
Exactly. That's why it's
I
not weird.
forgot. I forgot what the word they use, but let's just say bazingas.
Yabos or
Like
something like that.
yabos, yeah, like Max would say, I don't really have the yabos for it. Again, I love the girl's attitude. As a little sibling myself, I wish I had the attitude this girl had.
I was gonna say like I don't know. Some of your reactions, I'm just like I forget that you only have like it's only you and your sister.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you had a bunch of siblings, I don't think a lot of these things would stand out to you as anything other than something you've experienced.
Not only that, me and my sister are like 4 years apart,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound like a lot, but when I'm in elementary grade, she's in middle school. When I'm in
Mhm.
middle school, she's in high school. When I'm in high school, she's in college. Me and her had a hard time connecting till like recently, honestly.
Mhm.
We actually communicate now and talk about real shit, mostly like family trauma bullshit,
Mhm.
but real shit. We we didn't have a bad relationship, but I don't think we had a good one either until recently. Well, that's sad. Anyway, uh, well, and also like you and me have different like experiences with life. Anyway, they break into the museum, which were the Sanders sisters' home. Max steals a lighter, the little pyro. Again, a connection I share with him. And finds the black flame candle where if a virgin lights it, blah 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 blah. And he threatens to do it. The Allison and Danny are like, no, no, no. Let's go. Don't be stupid. And he lights it, and the sisters are summoned. Yeah, and this is kind of where the movie actually starts for me, I guess.
It's not that far into the movie.
It kind of felt like it. But I think at that point I started like, especially when they brought in Binks the cat to be the fourth party of this group. And we learn a bit more of the personalities of the different sisters. It took me a while to get into it. I talked about how um, it has its slow moments. Like, it's not even like slow moments. There are moments in the movie where it's like it's going at a good pace and then it kind of like hits a wall. Like the scene where they see the devil, a guy dressed up at the devil goes in his house, and it was weird. Once like Sarah's trying to seduce him, he's married, the wife comes out, sees them, throws them out. And yeah. it was weird. And then their brooms get stolen because they had to later on make a joke about one of them using a vacuum cleaner to fly instead of a broom. Which, cute joke, and it gets brought up, like, again in Hocus Pocus 2, where the joke.
Roombas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I liked it. It's a cute gag, but it also made me remember Roombas exist. I don't care for them.
Have you had one?
A long, long, long time ago. Now they're smarter, like, they map the room and
Yeah, yeah.
shit,
Mhm.
but before I'm like, "It's just going in circles. I don't think it's actually doing anything." Also, it's, like, getting in my way. Uh, but, like, how did you feel about the movie in general? Like.
The first one? I mean, I loved it. Like I said, I watched it every year when I was younger. Um, and then even when rewatching it, again, the first time was not first time, but like before this time for this episode of the podcast was in a theater, and I was surprised the opposite of what you're saying. Like you're like, "Oh, this is 93." For me, I was like surprised how well it held up. I thought it was going to be so much worse than I remembered. Do you know what I mean? Because like I was like I saw it when I was a kid,
Right.
so this is definitely going to be terrible, but I was surprised at how funny it was. And then I mentioned it earlier, but like now I see why it sticks with so many women where they're like, this is my fucking movie. And it's like, yeah, like, why wouldn't it be? This is like one of the few movies you can watch as a little girl back then that is like showing, women fucking just running shit. Either side, the heroes, the villains, the women are the ones that are the smart ones. The women are the
Yeah.
ones that know what they're doing. The women's are the ones that have the plans.
I mean, there's, like, some scenes that I mean, it also kinda shows, like, Max as a dumbass, but,
Yeah.
like, when they, like, found the quote unquote "cop" and, like, Danny and Allison was like, "You tell them, Max." Like, "What?" And he flubbed that pretty hard. Like, he's never talked to a human being before kinda stuff. And then I actually wrote down, like, all cops are bastards, and then it's revealed he's not a cop. And he also, like, gave him shit for being a virgin.
It was so that to me that was the funniest one
It was
though.
funny. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
'cause he
funny.
pulls him to the side a little bit and goes, "Really?"
I think the one that pushed me, that I was just like, "Okay, this was a bit too many," was the very last one where, um, Binks the cat dies after they, banish the witches.
Mhm.
And he comes back as a ghost and he's like, "Oh, bye-bye. I'm sorry I can't be a family pet to you." And he sees his sister and goes like, "I'm sorry it took forever. I had to wait for a virgin to show up and light a candle." I'm like, "Damn, even Binks is taking shots at fucking." Maybe, hey, maybe Thackeray Binks fucked. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't think I'm just saying I think that's what took so long, right? There's probably plenty of people who have lit the candle since then, but were they a virgin? You know what I mean? Like that's what needed to happen for it to work. And that's why it took
Here,
forever.
well, here's I guess it would also have to be on Hallow Eve's night,
Oh
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
seemed like the museum was closed for a while. It was full of cobwebs and stuff.
Mhm.
And it like they made a business out of it and then it
Yeah.
seemed to have closed down or some shit. You're telling me no other kids, like the bullies, didn't like break in like a year before on Halloween and went,
Apparently
"Hey, let's
not.
break in there." Or maybe they fucked too. I don't know.
I just don't think anyone else broke in. Cuz the thing is
I
you got to remember in that town they believe in it.
I
So they're not
guess
going to
that's
do that.
true.
It's because he didn't believe in it that he was willing to do that.
But also there's like I guess it's hard for me to imagine, like, even if you have a whole town who believes in something, you're gonna have skeptics, you know?
Yeah, but just because you're skeptical doesn't mean you're the one that's gonna be willing to test it, you know? Like, you could be skeptical and still have that seed of doubt because you were raised that way, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's like there's all these kids that are born into whatever religion and they believe it so hard. Even once they start breaking from that, they're still like
Ingrained.
it's ingrained. Like there's like people talk about Catholic guilt, and a lot of those people are not even like Catholic anymore. You know what I mean? Like they just still have that feeling.
Right.
I don't know. They needed it to happen for the plot of movie. What do you
Right,
want?
right.
But
And maybe Max was just enough skeptic, horny fuckboy person that this town needed.
yeah. Oh, one more thing, because again, you were talking about like the campiness of the acting, or like how they're chewing. For me, that was like a positive thing. Like it was something that I was able to enjoy and have fun with the movie. Like it's not taking itself seriously because it is ridiculous, and the actors are having fun with it. Like the witches are fun. I thought the bullies were fun. And then the kids, like the Max, Allison, and what's the sister again? The younger sister,
Danny.
Danny. Like I thought they were strong. Like you watch a lot of movies with kid actors and like like I'm thinking about like Disney Channel originals. This is like a step above that, at least in my mind. And I don't know. It just was, again, like it was better than I thought when I rewatched it. I thought it was fun.
Again, I'm also coming with like probably less views than you, you know? Like I can't remember the last time I've seen this movie. I was more the Xena Disney Channel movie.
But I'm surprised that you didn't watch it more, because even though this wasn't a Disney Channel original, they played it a lot
Yeah.
every year. Like at Halloween time, this was playing, and like if you were watching, I'm assuming you were watching Halloween Town. You didn't watch Halloween Town?
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. I definitely watched that, but clearly not enough that I'm having a hard time remembering the plot.
So you're just
Girl
not
goes
into
to
Halloween movies, at least when you were a kid.
I mean,
Those were the two. Like
probably.
those were the two that were playing all the time.
Well, yeah, I
Interesting.
went trick-or-treating.
I went trick or treating.
I was more focused on the trick-or-treating.
Oh, okay.
There was a plan. I don't know, and I don't think I was watching. I saw Chucky very young. As you know, I have a fear of dolls because of Chucky, and my mom buys dolls. And also, when me and my sister were bad, she threatened to buy Chucky, and Spencer Gifts had Chucky. It wasn't like a blank threat. She could have bought a Chucky doll. So I think that might have, like, I don't know, fucked me up about watching. I know this isn't a horror movie,
Yeah, I
but
know.
like that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's only till recently where I overcome my fear and watched the first Chucky movie, and yeah,
It's hilarious.
it's good. Yeah, I don't know why it fucked me up.
'Cause you were a
I don't think
kid.
I don't think I saw Chucky 1 though. I must have saw Chucky 2.
Mm.
But yeah, Hocus Pocus. Overall, I liked the movie. Like I would probably watch it again.
Once it got going, it won you
Yeah.
over a bit more.
Yeah, once I got in the groove of it.
Also, what about the big scene, man? The Halloween party or whatever it was.
Oh, right, the musical number.
Yeah.
The one musical number in this movie where they sang a song that this movie did not make up that song.
No.
Like, okay, I had to look that up because I wasn't sure. But it's like a very old song. Maybe it was like in free to use, like copyright wise or
It
something.
works perfectly though.
I'm pretty sure they named the movie because of this song. And it's actually a little surprising because it is such a big scene. You kind of think, oh, this had one or two had 2 or 3 like musical numbers. Like, nah, it just had this one. And they put a curse on the audience to dance the night away.
Well, it's the it's one where it's like a whole thing, a whole production, but there are multiple times where they sing in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, and let's not forget the best character of all, Billy the zombie. Had a great turn uh, where he captured Max, steals his pocket knife, and unzips his mouth to be able to call the witches a bitch. Actually, that would be great if that was like the one curse word he got to use. But no, it's like, you old hag, you. Yeah. It's hard to not just say curses.
Yeah.
And then, but he was also somewhat the downfall, because his head gets knocked off, and they're trying to protect Danny because the witches are like bloodthirsty for Danny. They could have had any pick of the child to extend their lives.
They get fixated, you know? Like
Yes.
if they feel wronged in any way, it's funny because like, you know, Winifred is supposed to be like the smart one, but she's so easy to get stuck on this thing cuz she could decide to do something else and they would be fine. But
Right.
instead she gets fixated on getting like some kind of revenge or something and then it screws them up.
And it's like the other sisters being like, hey, well, we can just deal with this another night. Because in the end of the day, if they don't do this thing to extend their lives, they are gonna disappear in the morning.
Yeah.
Which, good concept. Works. They're also very stupid. Like, they were able to trick the witches into thinking the sun came up really early by putting a filter on the headlights, which I guess was supposed to make like sunrise or something. I don't know. I'm just there going like, where the fuck did they get the filters? Because that definitely felt like a film crew kind of prop, and
Mhm.
less of like, oh yeah, remember how we had these filters for the windshield wiper, like for a car windshield so it doesn't get too. No, I don't know.
No, I think you're right, but I don't know. Like, yeah, it's easy to go like they're stupid, but I don't know. Like, they also aren't from that time. Like, they
That's
at the
true.
time they probably couldn't conceive of how it was done practically, you know?
Right, but also it's just like the light hits them and they're acting like it's poison. And it's like, you can like
But
just
again,
pay attention to your
isn't that a
body
part of
for
the
1
comedy? Like,
second.
that's a part of like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I am definitely looking at it. I guess I have fun like pointing out these things, and you have fun going with these things. I don't know. But in the end of the day, Max was able to protect his sister, and it's beautiful.
So wait, no, hold on. Now I gotta go back to what you're saying because like I
Okay.
think that's true, but I guess that's why you don't like movies the way I do. Because movies require you to suspend disbelief to be truly enjoyed. So if you're not willing to do that, then there's a lot of things that you're not going to enjoy the way they intended for you to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And that's interesting. Like why don't you want to go for the ride?
I don't have that problem with other things. It's more this like Halloween genre, I think. And maybe
Oh.
that comes from watching slashers, and because the rules of slashers that Scream defined and keeps defining as it keeps going. Uh like, don't turn around, uh those kind of things that were pointed stabs at older 80s flicks
Mhm.
movies. So maybe it comes from that kind of realm, because watching Rocky Horror Picture Show, like, well, that's also super campy and fun.
Mhm.
Like, I think the problem with this is like, yeah, you have campy characters, but then you, like you said, we had a good solid trio.
So you're saying some actors feel like they're in a different movie?
Yeah. Where like they were a strong presence, and them being like juxtaposed to the witches works, but then when every other character seems like a character, it's just like I wish they had the one character in their group as well,
Mm.
because because a lot of the focus of the movie is on them, like just together, and then the other like half of the movie is the witches interacting with the world. So it kind of gets weird when the group that's kind of like insulated to itself has to interact with the world, and the world is campy, where they're trying to take it in a serious manner, kind of.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe I would see it the same way if I didn't watch it so much before. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like when you watch things as a kid, you just
Yeah.
accept all of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So even though you can grow up and also realize that things are different, if you had a fondness for it, sometimes that like just overcomes it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just probably, instead of thinking about the details, I probably just kept feeling nostalgia just watching the movie as it was. And because you're right, I feel like the way you just laid it out, I feel like if that came out today, I would say the same thing. You know, so
Okay.
I guess that makes sense. Because I do, that bothers me. The way you said, like you said that they feel, you know, different from the world, like that. I see movies now and I say that. I say like, or sometimes it's the other way where everything is serious except for one person. And I'm like,
Right.
that one person doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? Like, why are they doing this?
Though I can get more on board with that, because I feel like anytime that happens, it just shows up to be like, yeah, no, he had a tragic backstory, and this is his coping mechanism now.
Maybe
It's
in some
just not to
movies,
take shit.
no, like I'm saying
Right.
like it happens where like it's like one of the main characters
Right. Yeah.
and they're just in a different mindset from the other actors. Like the other actors are like, I'm making a film, and then this person's like, I'm having fun. I don't know about you guys, you know, but I'm just doing whatever. And sometimes it works because they're so fun, you know, but then other
Right.
times it's like, what are you doing? You're like, you're breaking each scene that you're in.
I mean, in the end, I did like the movie.
Mhm.
I guess I came from being like the adult that had to watch a child's film, and it's not like one of those children shows where it's also made for the adults.
Mhm.
This feels very catered to children, which is fine, absolutely fine, and people can enjoy that. Should we rate the movie? I've thought of a revolutionary new point system.
Okay. What's your point system?
3-point system. 1, bad. 2, okay. 3, really good.
3 really good. uh,
I
I
mean,
don't
there's
know.
no other word for really good.
No, but I know that's the last one, but it's just funny. It's okay to really good. Like, I don't know.
I
I
didn't
don't
want to
know.
say
I
meh.
don't want to rate it. I just know I still enjoyed it. You know, after all this time, I still enjoyed it. I thought it's funny. I would watch it. I probably will watch it every year from here on out because I'm with Michelle.
There you go.
If you want to, you can do it. I don't want to do it, but you can give your 1, 2, 3 rating.
2. It's okay.
Shocker.
I feel like a lot of things are gonna hit 2, but that's the
Yeah, because really
greatness of,
good is that's saying a lot.
yeah. It's like saying great, which I haven't heard a lot in reference to me. So that's really high praise.
Oh man. So you're saying you're a 2?
That might be pushing it. Let's go 1.5.
Oh, jeez.
Apparently, I'm bringing the 0.5 system.
Yeah, you already broke the system. Your revolutionary system already didn't work.
And let's just mention the last thing. At the very end of the movie, it shows the book and it opens his eyes. It feels like they were like,
There can be more.
yeah. So let's move into Hocus Pocus 2. The movie does start with a origin story of the children, which the Stanford sisters being children,
Sanderson sisters.
Sanderson sisters being children who are weird and their parents are dead. And it's Winifred's birthday. They get her a spider. Well, it's found out that Winifred is supposed to marry some dude.
Yeah, they want to
She's
marry
like,
her
fuck
off.
y'all.
Yeah.
They're literally the town preacher is like, you are 16. It's time for you to fuck. So they were gonna marry her off to him, and she's like, fuck no. The guy's like, thank God. And this is where it's like, I'm in love with Billy. We're soulmates. Billy's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Which
we
I
kissed
loved.
in the graveyard. and it's a great scene, and the spider gets out. Everyone in town is afraid of spiders, like they should be. And they run into woods, meet a witch, and become witches. And we learn about this spell called Maximum Power, but it's what is it called? Maximus Powerish. It's something stupid like that, but it's Maximum Power. And the book is like, fuck you, never use this spell. And they're like, we promise never to use that spell. They go back on that promise. Anyway, modern day, we meet this young woman named Becca. She is with her friend Izzy. They have a third friend that they clearly had a falling out with who was named Casey, and because Casey was dating Mike, and Mike was an asshole. And again, not to do beat to beat, but the movie goes into Casey's father, who's the mayor, is like a descendant of the preacher. The museum of the
I love
witches.
that actor, by the way. I think he's so funny.
I legit thought he was going to be an evil character, but no, he was fine. Like when he did his laugh, it was just like, he's evil. He's evil. And then they like play it up like, oh, he's the nicest guy. I'm like, he's evil. He's gonna fucking chop someone's head off. Let's go. But no, he wanted a caramel apple. He had a really weird fake laugh. But something like a forced laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the museum gets opened up again by I don't remember this character's name. He's a black heavyset dude.
It's the only way you know how to describe people. It's Gilbert.
So Gilbert opened up this and made it into like a witchcraft store. Becca is really into crystals and stones, magic properties and bullshit like that. And he gives her a very special present, a nice little candle, which Becca has a birthday. Her birthday is Halloween, which is kind of awesome. And they have this special like ritual they do in the woods. Like all teenage girls do.
Okay, but before you continue, I disagree with it being awesome.
Being what?
Awesome. Her birthday being on Halloween.
Oh.
It's not awesome to share your birthday with an established holiday.
But I mean, there are worse ones like Thanksgiving or
No, if you have to have one, but I'm saying it's better to not be on a holiday because then your birthday is never really going to be about your birthday. Halloween's still more important.
Okay.
It's gonna be hard to get people to care.
I guess, but also Becca, Izzy, they seem to be more like a insular group and they made their own like rituals. Like after this like forced hangout thing, they were gonna go and watch like movies and do a marathon and eat cookies and have a great time.
Yeah, but they could do that
Like,
for
I don't know.
Halloween in general. Like, it didn't have to be for her birthday. She could have done something else on her birthday.
Okay. I I feel like Becca would be someone who thought it was kind of cool.
I'm not saying the ritual part isn't. I'm just saying, like, everyone's celebrating Halloween. Like, it's not really your
Yeah, and
birthday
she
to
probably
celebrate.
liked that because fuck people.
Okay.
Again, she seemed like very like she made her friends group, and the fact that one friend, was separating was like a big thing to them, you know? It's not like you who can make friends with different groups all around somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I connect with Becca apparently for probably the wrong reasons. Uh but where the previous movie was definitely about like family sibling relationship, this movie is definitely it hits you over the head. It's definitely like a sisterly bond with, be it your actual sisters or the sisters you formed uh through friendship. You're giving me a look like you disagree.
No.
Okay.
No, because the Sanderson sisters, they focus on that and their sisterhood, and then Becca and her friends, they focus on that. I'm just listening.
Right.
I feel like I can't stare without you going, what's going through this man's mind?
You have resting bitch face.
I'm just tired.
I mean, same.
But you're right. No, that is what it is. Because it's not even just the Sanderson sisters and that them showing us with that. It's not just Becca and her friends and them showing us with that. In the beginning, what's the witch that they meet?
Oh, let's just call her the mother witch.
Okay. She's pretty much saying like there's nothing more important than your coven. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so she's starting the movie with that. Like, you gotta take care of your sisters. They are all you got. Like that's the most important thing. And yeah, it's they wanted that to be the message.
Yeah. And actually, something I thought was a little odd, they kind of made it seem like Winifred was the witch and the other two were not exactly witches. Where in the first movie, it was definitely like, oh, all three of them are witches, they just have different powers. This is kind of like being like Winifred's the one who can actually do things, and they kind of get the spoils of,
I disagree. I get what you're saying. Because I that thought crossed my mind. Because like, and then
Okay.
with Becca, it's like she's the witch, and then her friends. But I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be like they need each other, and so they're just not as powerful as Winifred, and
Right.
Becca's friends are not as powerful as her. It's like each coven needs a leader,
Mm,
but you can't treat the other ones like they're not important because you need them too. You
right.
know. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like that's not. It's not quite that. There's one witch. It's just that there's like a powerful witch who needs her coven to really, you know, I guess, do what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, it probably just didn't help with Winifred being the more dominant one and like talking down her sisters
Mm-hmm.
in a way, especially when they performed the spell and then they started getting dark lightning Jedi powers like Winifred. Uh, so and it weirdly put them on like a weird equal footing kind of place where even like Sarah, who's very meek and stuff, was able to like kind of stand up to her sister in a
That
way.
lasted 5 seconds though.
Oh yeah, but you know what? It was 5 seconds, which was 50 times more than ever before, you know?
Mhm.
I will say, like, the jokes in this movie, I mean, it's a more modern movie, and they probably knew this movie definitely felt like it was made for kids and the people who grew up with Hocus Pocus,
Mhm.
where I felt the jokes, hit more than missed. Like when, what was the guy's name? The shop owner?
Gilbert.
Gilbert. When he was, like, telling them why he gave them the candle, because he was like, "Well, it wouldn't work if I used it."
Yeah.
And the one girl had to be like, "Why not?" "Oh, ew." I'm like, "That's a grown ass man, but okay." Oh, and let's talk about, so they didn't bring back anyone from the first movie.
Well,
Well,
the witches. The main
well,
witches.
well, no. I guess I'm talking about, like, Max, Allison, Danny.
They tried to bring back Danny.
That's the one I would think you would try to bring back.
Yeah, she had scheduling conflicts. She was in the script.
Ah,
Yeah, they couldn't do it. They couldn't make it work.
well, I made her like a teacher or something. But instead, they kind of made Gilbert the connection from the first movie, saying he was there and he watched them disappear. And for whatever reason, he thought they weren't bad people.
Yeah, he thought like they got a bad rap, like, and he kind of became a Sanderson sisters stan. I think that they were kind of making fun of, because a lot of people watch horror movies and they relate to like the villain or something, or like, you know, like all these murder mystery things where people become obsessed with the murderer, and like they try to like make up excuses for the way that they are. I feel like I don't know, I just got that feeling because that's a big thing happening right now with all the podcasts as well. And I'm like, he's that guy. He's the guy that just has this, like, he's trying to sugarcoat what they were. They killed children. It doesn't really matter what their story was after that. You know, like
Like, I knew that was kind of a thing, but you just saying it, like, that's such a red flag.
yeah.
Like, remember, like, when people were like, it's kind of a red flag if you identify with Rick from Rick and Morty. Like you can identify with that, but you also have to, like, identify why that's a problem, you know? Like, yeah, like, some of the dark scenes where he's depressed and stuff, like, yeah, haven't got to that point, but I relate to that, but I also recognize that's not a good thing,
Mhm.
you know? Anyway, Gilbert kinda sucked, he decided.
But I like that guy too, like the actor.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think he
no,
really
like,
made the most of, you know, he made things funny. Like that's why, so that's another thing. You said like the jokes landed. Was it the joke itself or was it like the way he delivered it? Cuz I thought that it wasn't a great joke, but the way, like, he's so good at like the staring off thing, like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He sells it, you know?
yeah, like, it's fun when
Stumbling over
it's
his
like,
words.
yeah, like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah.
And then he teams up with Billy, and that's a fun, like, buddy comedy going on in the background of everything. And like, talking about Hocus Pocus 1 versus this, I felt like pretty much everyone was on the same wavelength of character. You know, there was some goofiness,
No,
but
you're right.
also, like, it was a
There,
good mesh.
yeah. I agree with that.
Like, probably the most, like, campy character would be Mike, I guess.
Mhm. No, yeah, I agree. So, oh man, like you're kind of making me want to rewatch the movie because it seems like
Did you
you.
like it?
Uh, I liked it,
Okay.
but I prefer the original just off one viewing, anyways. And I think it's because I feel like there was a lot more going on in the sequel without it like coming together in like a satisfying way for me. Like I felt like they were trying to. Okay, actually, this is the perfect way to describe it, and I talked about it with Michelle. Is that was such a fucking current Disney sequel remake thing that they've been doing. It was The Force Awakens. You know what I mean? It was the thing you already know, slightly different.
Right.
It was the same exact movie you saw with something a little bit new. You know, we're gonna play into the nostalgia and not really deliver a brand new movie here. And like, I'm just first off, that shit pisses me off. But second, I'm like, the little things they did, just like in other movies, like, Force Awakens, whatever. It's like, dang, that could have been so interesting if that mattered. Like I, the opening scene, like the origin. I'm like, that could have been a cool movie on its own, maybe. Like if they just focused on
Mm.
that, like they could have done something compelling there. Or like when they do make references, it didn't always hit for me. So like one thing you were saying earlier about the first one was like, oh man, I kind of forgot that there was only really one big musical number, and then in this one they go like, oh yeah, they like to sing, and it's like, do
They went
they? I
to
mean,
3. Yeah,
yeah,
they
but
had 3 musical numbers.
they did, but I'm saying like watching the original, I didn't get the impression that they loved to sing. I was like,
Right.
no, they just had to in that one scene, and then this one Sarah's Spell is a song, you know what I mean? Like, but other than that, it's not. They're not just singing the whole movie. And then
Right.
when they return, they just sing right off the bat, and I was like, this feels kind of weird. But I took it two ways. One, I was like, this feels weird unless the sequel's a musical. You know what I mean? I was like, if this is a musical from here on out, I'm in. But it wasn't.
Right. I mean, they still had like 2 more like musical scenes and
But
stuff like that, which
yeah,
was
but it
fun.
wasn't the same as like a
Right.
musical. So it was just like little. It's funny because like you were like kind of nitpicking the first one. Now I'm like thinking like all these little things feel so small, especially like the positive things that you said. I'm like, wow, like that they did do that well. That was fun. I
And
think I'm gonna
not
have to
only
rewatch
that,
it.
like it wasn't even like when the girls get caught and they're like, "Oh, actually you can buy de-aging potions at a store now. Comes with the child's soul." You know, and then I really like that Walgreens scene where um they're drinking the the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
lotions and stuff, and then those girls come up and they take a picture, and because they had a filter to like pretty up the faces,
yeah. They
they're
thought it
like,
was
"Oh
like,
my god, we're so
yeah, yeah,
young."
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
like,
so
"Oh, that's cute, that's cute."
no, it was, but I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because they were overdoing it with like in the first one I was like, oh, they weren't there from that time, but it was like understated. Like they knew they weren't from that time, so they didn't overreact to things being different. In this one, they reacted to every little thing. I felt like I'm like, are they just stupid now? Like, why is everything blowing their mind? They should just be like, oh, that's interesting, and move on. Like the way they were acting with the sliding doors, I was like, this is ridiculous. The mirror, you don't need to have seen one of those to understand the concept.
Right.
Like, so I was just like, what are they doing? The filter thing I thought was really good. The drinking the lotion, that was funny. But it's just like they were overdoing it for me. So like the whole scene kind of just there's such thing as too much, you know what I mean? And it just kind of made it like not funny to me, even though there was parts that were funny.
I mean, I guess I don't know, like I was hooked on it and I was enjoying like these kids were, I guess in my mind, was doing it a bit more smarter, like manipulating the witches instead of pretending to the sunrise came up and stuff like that. I enjoyed that dynamic, and then when they got the salt, and I don't know, I liked Becca right away.
Yeah.
Max took me a while to be like, okay, you're still a fuck boy, but I guess you're all right.
I mean, that was kind of I think the way they wanted to play it, right? Like
Yeah, I
he
guess.
just didn't think that I could stop right there. I was gonna, didn't think from other people's perspective. Didn't think about what he was doing. He was just, it was he was similar in that way. But
Yeah, but and then the problem with that was like is technically the main character. I'm actually wondering how more interesting the that story could be told if Allison was the main character. You know?
I, what I was sorry, I don't remember the name of the boyfriend, but that's what I was gonna say. He was similar to. He was similar in a way to the girl's boyfriend. you know. But what we learn about that guy is he's not bad either. You know what I mean? Like it seems like
Right.
he's kind of like a douche in the beginning, but really it's like he just doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just a dumb teen, and he feels bad once he's like aware of the way he's come across to people.
Yeah, I wrote down communication is the key to a strong relationship because they finally like said like, "Man, you're such an asshole." He's like, "What? What do you mean? I don't make fun of you guys. You call us weird because we like witch things. That's making fun of us." I thought I was just making conversation.
And at one point he's like, "I have so many people I have to apologize to."
And it's so yeah, and that's great, and and it's nice where it wasn't like, oh, Casey needs to break up with this guy. Like,
Yeah.
no, maybe he's okay.
Mhm.
I love when the witches like forced him to take him to where the mayor lived, and they call him the village idiot.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're lucky we found the village idiot. He's just running, screaming to the mayor's house. Uh, he's also a bad influence on Casey. Like we can't ignore that. He's the one that convinced the child to throw a party at her house while her father was still in town. Can we talk about how stupid that is? Like I get every like teenage 80s, television show. Oh, they went out of state. They're going to be out of town for a day or two. We're going to throw a party. And instead it's just like this guy saw that and went, "Oh, your dad's gonna be out for like a couple hours. Let's throw a party." Like, come on, boy. And then the girl goes with it like she's smarter than that. I don't know. Like, I just thought there was like a lot of fun scenes and a lot like smart, like surrounding the witches with salt, being able to trick them that way. And yeah, I guess it does play on like the witches not being too smart, but I think that also played up that the stick of like they are pretty much the Three Stooges, you know?
Yeah, but it just seems like it got to a whole nother level compared to the first one. And even Winifred comes across as pretty dumb in a lot of scenes. And I don't know. It just bothered me.
True. I guess in the first movie, she's the one that first realizes, oh, they're actually children running around, not actual hobgoblins like they thought in the first movie. But again, she thought they were hobgoblins for a while. Uh, I would say that like egotistical or that revenge what feeling like going after Danny that comes in play here again as well to get revenge on the preacher's family
Yeah.
by using the maximum power spell. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but they brought back the joke with the vacuum cleaner, but instead it's Roombas. It's a Swifter and it's Roombas. I actually thought the Swifter was funnier to me when it first, like, Winifred came out with a broom and then it was the Swifter. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then the rumors happened. I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense. That's the joke they would make.
I think the Roomba one would have been funnier if she was sitting on it. Just one. Instead of standing on two. Like it just would have been visually more funny looking to me.
Yeah, I think they were trying to maybe make an allegory to those hoverboards in
Yeah,
my mind.
I think so. But
Like,
I don't know. It just
I think they probably had to because they didn't just want to cater to us, they want to cater to a young crowd, and the young crowd is going to see that and not only be like, oh, Roomba's the thing my mom likes, but also like, oh, it's like she's on a hoverboard, that's kind of funny. So uh before I watched this movie, my friend on Facebook, she posted and after watching it saying worst movie ever, waste of time, blah blah blah. I was like, that's a bit harsh.
it is harsh.
The ending is corny as fuck, but also when the book cried, I cried, you know? Like
Yeah,
it is kind of sad,
it is kind of
even if
sad,
it's corny.
but that's the thing. It could have hit so much harder. I think they just had her monologuing too much there. You know, like they it wasn't
Right.
necessarily the right words, and also she's just chewing up a green screen. Like you could tell like she's just standing in front of a green screen and just she's just the lone person just monologuing, and
Well,
it's just
yeah, it's monologuing, and it's like monologuing like she was a Shakespearean actor, like
mhm.
going like, "Oh, you're the new witch now. There's must be something you can do. Clearly, thou hast to check the book."
I wonder if they literally weren't there together, and that makes it tough for an actor sometimes. You know, like if you don't have that person to
Yeah,
connect to.
maybe.
Yeah, it was over the top. It kind of it was like what I wanted to happen in a way, but it just didn't happen the way I wanted. If that makes any sense,
Yeah.
like
It could have been better if it was, like, filmed on location and, or well, I like we're making some we don't know the actual facts of some of these things, but, if what we are saying is correct, it could have been better if on location and all that stuff, but
oh no, that was
it kinda
definitely a green
fell.
screen. That is,
Okay.
I'm like 100% sure about that.
Right.
Yeah, because that whole scene was like that whole forest was a fake forest. Like that was
Right.
just yeah, you could tell they made it really dim, and they just you know what I mean. Like it was just a cover for the fact that it's just all effects,
Right.
like random kind of. Just before I forget, I feel like there's like a subplot that they took out or something because I feel like the Mother Witch was supposed to be a much bigger part of this movie. I think she was supposed to be more than just in the beginning. They kept showing the bird, which is her, and I was like,
Right.
"What the fuck?" Like, and also that actress. Like, I don't know if you watched Ted Lasso, but like, she's kind of known. And first off, that's a great show, and you need to watch it. She's kind of known. I'm like, why would you cast her for one scene? That makes no sense. What? And she's a strong actress. You don't think she did really well in just that one scene? Like she was,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I was
And
loving
I
it.
got hooked right away, but also the movie was fun. Look, the spider scene was just hilarious to me, you know? Just like them like the whole town freaking out of one spider. Just I was like, "Yeah, fucking stupid ass pilgrims." Oh, and I just want this I thought so in the first movie, like the three sisters like meet a bus driver. They don't know what a bus is. He's like showing them. Bus driver is horny as fuck, which, fair. I don't blame him.
Mhm.
Especially when fucking Sarah's sitting on his lap while he's, like, teaching her how to drive. But in this movie, they refer to a car as a small bus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was hilarious. That was one of my favorite callbacks. I thought that was funny.
"Oh, it's just a small bus." It's like well, it's great because you just don't expect it. It's just like especially if you watch the first movie into the second movie, it's such a slap and like, "Wait, oh, that's just perfect. That's perfect." Oh, I think this is a good lesson though. Power is meant to be shared. Like that's kind of
Ah,
the warning in the book about the maximum power is spell.
yeah.
Because what it does, spoiler, not that we haven't spoiled anything else, um, it causes the leader witch to become more powerful, but the other two witches have to die or disappear. They don't say die because
No,
they
wait, 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 wait.
okay.
No, it only says that you will lose what's most important to you. So
Okay.
if your coven isn't what's most important to you, you might lose something else and you still might have your coven. But the three covens that we've seen, like the Mother Witch implies that that's what happened to her.
Right.
And she lost her coven. We know the Sanderson sisters, Winifred loves her sisters more than anything, especially that opening scene. And then we know Becca, has her two best friends, and that would be her coven.
Right.
So, I,
Well, I feel like for a book for witches, the most important thing for that person is their coven, you know?
I mean, I guess. I mean, like, it's just I could picture a witch who has a coven and they're just not the most important thing to them, like they're like the perfect person to use that spell, right? Because they're not going to lose them because they don't really care about them. They just kind of need them, unless that's what it means. I don't know, but
Well, then they lose their eyeballs. Fuck it.
but yeah, that's still a good lesson. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like our podcast. We share the responsibility. I couldn't even no. Anyway.
What power are you wielding, do you think?
I edit, I do the social media.
Yeah, but what's the power?
I
what is the
a
power?
podcast. I have a stand.
You feel powerful
to speak. Yes.
That's good. I'm
should
happy for
too.
you. I do not.
This explains so many of our conversations. Where I'm like, John, you can just do this podcast. You can do a podcast without me. No. Also I found this the weirdest thing. They should have just waited a year and make it the 30-year anniversary. They fucking go so hard in saying like it's the 29th anniversary. It's the 29th anniversary. And I'm like, guys, could have gave it one more year, gave this a bit more polish, and be able to just be the 30th. But I guess they wanted to push it out for whatever reason.
Do you think they're trying to make a franchise more than just
They
sequel?
definitely want to, because the end of this fucking stupid I hated this. Like, after the credits, the cat jumps onto a shelf and it zooms in, and it's like black candle number 2 or whatever. And it's like, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? I will take a television show of Becca and her friends becoming
But how do you
a
know that's not what
coven.
it is?
I feel like they're just gonna bring back the witches or something. Like, do a third movie. That's the sense I got out of it. I literally wrote down.
They could be mentors in a third movie. No, I wonder if it's gonna be.
I don't want that either, though.
I think it would be a TV show, to be honest, because it's Disney Plus. It's not.
Yeah.
They didn't make it a movie for theaters, so I think that if they bring it back, it would be a TV show. You know, and they didn't cast a bunch of like film actors. You know,
Right.
Like I don't know. I just and maybe that's why that actress who I told you is the Mother Witch like is in it. Like maybe she would be a bigger part because she's still the bird flying around. Like don't know what that's about, but I don't know. I think that they definitely plan to do more, but I don't know. We'll see if they actually follow through. Obviously, they left it open in the original, and it took as long as it did to get another. So
29 years. Not 30. 29. So weird. Again, like when I saw that, it gave me more like third movie vibes.
Mhm.
I'm like okay with fucking giving like Becca a television show, or give me the animated version of that. I don't fucking care.
But I
You
mean, they
know?
could still do a third movie too. Like, like, and it could be Becca. Like, it could still be Becca. I don't know. I just want whatever comes next to be. Like I said, I have to
But you
rewatch this, but I
want-
just want it to be better.
But you want the sisters to come back.
No, I don't care.
Okay, because I felt like this was like, yeah, it was corny, but it was a good enough send off in a way. Like the maybe not the scene, but the feelings of that scene, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The emotions in that scene. It felt like a good send off.
It does,
like,
and
okay.
also she learns what's most important to her, right? So I don't think she
Right.
needs to come back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why does she need to come back and try to live sucking up children's souls? Like, where she went is where her sisters are, and that's all she needs. Like,
And the credits showed where they went to a music studio where they can do all the music they want. Like, that's awesome. Like, maybe they'll do a Billie Eilish song or something. That'll be fun.
They do seem to know all the songs that came out after their time.
Yeah, it was
Magical.
weird when. What was the song that they did for that was the main one? I'm Oh God, I'm gonna find you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get yeah.
I'm gonna get you. I'm like, oh wow, it's been a minute since I've heard that song, but yeah, it's probably free to use nowadays. I don't know. I felt like this had a lot of fun moments and it was paced better than the first movie and it caught me
It was
quicker.
paced better than the first movie?
I
I don't
think
know.
so. I think it moved.
It's like 30
uh
minutes longer than it needs to be.
I was a little surprised it was like 10 or 15 minutes longer than the first movie.
All right, so maybe I exaggerated. Probably like 10 to 15 minutes longer than it
Yeah.
needs to be. I don't know. I don't. Again, I'm gonna rewatch it at some point, but I don't think it's better paced. I know what you're talking about. Like those two, like there's like momentum stoppers in the original,
Yeah.
but it's literally like two scenes. And if you took those out, I feel like it would be perfectly paced. Now in this one, there's nothing quite so like
Drastic.
drastic, but I feel like there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of things that don't need to be. And they're even in scenes that I would have liked ran too long. Like I was saying, you know, you like the Walgreens scene. I'm like, I like parts of the Walgreens scene, you know, but it's probably twice as long as it needs to be. The monologue scene at the end, they could have tightened that up a little bit and it could have hit a lot harder. So that's the thing. It's not even just about uh momentum. It was like you literally you blunted your ability to like pull at my, you know, my strings here. Like
Right.
you could have had me feeling more emotional than I did. Because after a certain point, I was like, man, this is like Peter Parker not dying fast enough in Avengers. Just go poof already.
I don't know. I saw that in theaters and oh my God, there was a Spider-Man fan and he's like, no, 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 no. And now it's like, oh, thank you, sir, for showing up. This is a crowded theater, but thank you, sir, for showing up. My God.
I wanted to laugh. Like everyone else was just boom, 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 instant, and he just keeps reaching out, and he's acting like he's blind. Like,
To be fair, they don't seem to tell Tom Holland too much information for like good reasons.
yeah, he didn't know
But
he didn't even know the context of the scene.
apparently he was given the script, saw that apparently they've like changed the script on him before, and when he got the one that said where he dies, he was just like, what is this? Can't they at least make it believable? And then no, he dies. uh is there anything else to add to Hocus Pocus 2?
I want a prequel.
I'm okay with that.
I
I
honestly, when that scene ended, I was like, damn, I think I could have watched a whole movie of that.
Okay, so I just checked my notes, and there is a continuity issue I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The mouth. Is it different?
I have something else written down. What's the mouth?
Uh, uh, Mary Sanderson, her mouth tilts to the wrong side compared to the original.
Okay,
It bothered
so
me. It bothered me, man.
okay,
How could you have like a
uh,
physical defect that switches sides?
watch Young Frankenstein.
Okay. Is
Have
that
you
a
not seen Young Frankenstein?
no?
The Mel Brooks movie?
No.
One of the gags is Igor or Igor, his hump changes sides throughout the scenes, and it's noticed like the actor even like notices it, and it's cute. um but the continuity problem I'm having is they had the original Hocus Pocus playing in one of the scenes. It's the scene where it's the devil like
No,
talking
I
to the
know what you're talking
wife.
about. Yeah.
And that's a problem when they're stating that that movie actually happened. It's history, you know? The movie doesn't exist.
That's not a continuity error though. I get what you're
I
saying.
yes, I
But
used it wrong. Yes,
because you're
yes,
acting
yes.
like they didn't know. You know what I mean? A continuity error.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I don't remember what the actual
But I think that's why they used the scene. They used that scene, but they didn't show them in it. You know what I mean? Like they it
yeah,
was like a it was a
reference for people who
yeah, but
know.
I will say that it wasn't a continuity error, but it was a little distracting because I was just like, why? Like we're already watching the sequel with the sisters
Yeah,
returning. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like we didn't need that.
I think I would have preferred like people looking at vinyl records and seeing uh the like original artists who sang Hocus Pocus,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which his name is cool. It's like screaming something. And did you listen to his like original
No,
like singing of it?
no.
Go listen to it. It's kind of wild. Like like his name being Screaming Jay Hawkins. And he's like also like screaming this. He is very, you should look him up really quick, just see what he looks like, because he's awesome.
Wait, I think I might have heard the original. Interesting.
The way he sings it, it's so haunting in a way. It's
Yeah, no, I think I have heard it though.
also under people also ask how many illegitimate children did Screaming Jay Hawkins have? After his death, his friends and biographer Merrill whatever set up a website to trace these children, identifying 33, at least 12 of whom met at a 2001 reunion. He had 33 illegitimate, well, possibly.
Hmm.
Also, the next question was Screaming Jay Hawkins black? Yeah. Like, just looking at him, like, come on. But yeah, that was Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. I guess if I had to give a rating for the movie for Hocus Pocus 2, am I allowed to have 0.5s?
You're talking about on your revolutionary 3-point scale?
Yes, you get to define this. You get to define this.
No, then I say no.
Okay, it's a 3.
No, you're fucking bullshitting.
It's
me.
really good. It's really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, it doesn't stick the landing. Yes. Is it corny? No. Yes. But
even up to that point, there was okay, whatever. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Just because you liked it better than the first doesn't mean it would be a higher rating.
If I was given 0.5s, it would have been 2.5.
You said there was going to be a lot of 2s, remember? There was going to be a lot of 2s. No, we have 2 2s at best.
You at home decide who is correct. Is it a 3 or a 2?
I've never been so mad at someone else's rating, I don't think.
Like, I'm sure you have. Anyway, thank you for listening to our Hocus Pocus 1 and 2 review. It took a minute to get into the actual reviewing and less storyboarding. That's my fault, but I think we had a good time. I think we had actually really good discussions about these movies, and I would love to hear other people's opinions. You can reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I believe I'm putting the email address where you can reach out to us. I don't check that daily because I don't have to, because no one fucking reaches out to us. But if you want to reach out to us and share a suggestion, give an idea for a show for us, we would love to hear it. A reminder to everyone out there, please review, like our videos, share our stuff with people. That's how we're going to grow. If you like us, this might be weird. This took me forever to kind of understand myself. But if I like something, there's a chance my friends will also like it. So you should share things you like with your friends. So if you like us, You should share it with your friends.
I mean, that explains why it's our friends that listen to it.
I like how you say our friends.
My friends. No, you have
Yes.
friends who are listening to it.
We'll see. They haven't mentioned something in a while.
I know, because maybe they don't listen to podcasts. They were following
Yeah,
it for a
yeah.
little while, and it just
Which was kind of them. It would have been kinder if they left a review. Like, yes, you can hit 5 stars, and that's fine and dandy. We've been at 5 reviews with only one person saying something. And maybe in the future we'll read out those reviews as a thank you. But right now, the only person we're thanking is Michelle. And she's John's
Wow.
boyfriend. John's girlfriend. So, and I bought her a video game. So, yeah. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say if you review, I'll buy you a video game. I mean, it's only $20.
That's a part of your marketing budget.
Anyway, to close out the show, I think it's just important I read out this thing on that I Googled. And I hope it helps everyone understand today's episode. A weak and contemptible man, a man who has many casual sexual partners. That is the definition of fuckboy. Goodbye, everyone. Let's see. I wrote, "You're a witch, Becca," making fun of "You're a witch, Harry." I thought that was funny when I wrote it down in my book.